The 12 Pyramids of Dwahuti. Pyramid 4. The Atlantean pyramid creates the illusion of realities and time on the earth plane. The soul who oversees this pyramid goes by the frequency Arlis Kakiazel. In the Temple of Crystals, the goddess sits. She, whose consciousness creates all and everything from within. Through this crystal matrix, a race of evolved humans was born. And when it was time for those souls to once again submerge in the sea of creation, to evolve into a new experience, the crystals would echo the harmonics, and the souls would remember and align for transition. The Atlantean pyramid has great mythology about an ancient time when man used his gift of intuition and worked with spirit. It tells of priests and priestesses who used massive crystals and walked with giants and strange creatures on the surface of the planet. This pyramid tells of Dwahuti, known as Thoth the Atlantean or Dwahuti, who ruled the land of Atlantis for thousands of years, known there by many names and descriptions. It is written that before the great civilization of Atlantis fell, I went with my consort and our high priests and priestesses in great spaceships to create a new home and a new civilization. That this place would be the land of Chem, known to you as Egypt. That I and others from Atlantis would record and store in great libraries in a place to be known as the halls of Amenti. Amenti meaning mankind. Listen now for the echoes of their tones within your mind. And many would search for these records in their quest to remember why they have come here and who they are. And they would feel that they have greater purpose in this timeline and seek to find out what that purpose might be. The Atlantean pyramid would create tales of the fall of this great civilization as warning to those who would walk the earth at the time of this reading. And humanity would worry about the destruction of its earth home. Fear not, as the souls need only remember their way home into the light. For there is no beginning, nor is there an end. And I, Dwahuti the Atlantean, shall now take you to the Pyramid of Atlantis so you may experience all that you are. And you will understand what happened in the game of light versus darkness. And you will remember what you must do. So much to discuss. Each of these 12 pyramids are encoded by design with particular mythologies for us to experience in the Earth matrix. There are certain pyramids, like Pyramid 4, that have particular affinity for me. Pyramid 4, Pyramid 5, and several of these pyramids resonate in real time with all of my being. When I hear the wisdom. It resonates within me loudly as truth. Many say that these ancient civilizations, like Atlantis, are mythical. But I say to you, all reality is mythical, because reality is nothing more than where you place your consciousness on the continuum of infinity. In Pyramid 3, Dwahuti said loud and clear, all is mythology, and mythology is all. Translation, reality is nothing more than where you place your consciousness. Consciousness creates reality. So if some people take Atlantis, Lemuria, and Lumania, and Pangaea as mythological places, I wonder, in the future, would our present experience also be considered a mythology? Because after all is mythology, is it not? We came here to Earth because it is the #1 environment where we can create with our consciousness and experience emotion. Emotion and the mastery over it is the fastest way to advance our souls. Every soul that has showed up on earth is blessed because it accelerates, it expedites the soul evolution. There are other environments to which we could have incarnated and developed our light. And I would submit to you that you have incarnated in other environments that are nothing like the earth. But it takes longer to advance your soul. It takes longer to advance your consciousness, your frequency, your power. It's all one and the same. It is the essence of who we are. Consciousness. Consciousness, by design, has intelligence. By design, has power. By design, has frequency. By design, has harmonics. And this is the essence of who you are. So this pyramid over Atlantis creates the illusion of reality and time, which is why we're here. To create this reality and to master it. Dwahuti, the masculine principle, spiraled down from the heavenly frequencies, and he laid out this entire matrix of consciousness or reality through these 12 pyramids. Then there's the feminine principle that creates all from internal consciousness. The world we are presently residing in is a collective consciousness of all the souls who are here at this time. So in the story of Atlantis, the feminine principle, Ma'at, sat in her crystal temple, and through the crystal matrix, she manifests with her consciousness a race of evolved humans. So there you have the masculine and feminine principle working together, as is the case in all life, in all creation. There must be both the masculine and feminine principle doing their respective parts. When it is time for a particular consciousness or reality to end and for the soul to transition into another reality, the harmonics would be sent and the sacred calling would be heard and the souls would remember. The souls would submerge in the sea of creation, i.e. their consciousness. And you can also look at this literally. Atlantis, Lumania, Lemuria These are all ancient civilizations that reportedly sunk. So there's a literal and a figurative truth to what happens when it's time to transition to another reality. The key in this pyramid is that we were given a gift of intuition, and that gift was to be perfectly aligned with spirit. And in the perfect alignment with spirit, every great civilization rose. Atlantis, Lemuria, Lumania, Chem, and so on. Approximately 300 million years ago, there was a supercontinent known as Pangaea. And when we had this supercontinent, all land masses were one. So all the continents were connected in one huge landmass. And then approximately 100 million years ago, the landmass started to break up. And the number of civilizations, I don't know that we have a definitive number. Some people say 3, some people say more. But the ones that I want to focus on are Lumania, Lemuria, and Atlantis. So there were at least 3 technologically advanced civilizations prior to Atlantis. Now, in Lumania, these beings were highly sensitive, peace-loving people with an astounding affinity for sound or harmonics. Their language, their art, their modes of propulsion, the machines that they created, the cities that they manifested, the caves that they manifested where before there were none, it was all done through harmonics and telepathic communication. These beings were actually thought forms, meaning a concentration of consciousness that was vocalized or focalized into a physical thing. But this physical thing did not have a body as we understand bodies. So they were thought forms. Not only were bodies not necessary, according to their really strong beliefs and consciousness and the use of intuition aligned with spirit, to manifest a physical body would actually go against their beliefs. These beings had an extreme aversion to violence. They even considered speaking words as a violent act. All communication was telepathic. The harmonics were of such high frequency that you could not hear them with the naked ear. You could only hear them with your telepathic consciousness. They would send evocative images to each other via brainwaves. Eventually, the Lumanians evolved, cycled into higher dimensions. Their continent was largely situated in the area we call Asia Minor. And while they did develop technologies by the power of harmonics, they were mostly focused on their psychic abilities. Lemuria, like Lumania and Atlantis, was an ancient civilization where the focus was on consciousness and aligning with spirit. Lemuria existed prior to and during the time of Atlantis. Physically, Lemuria existed largely in the southern Pacific between North America and Asia, Australia. Lemuria is also sometimes referred to as Pacifica, as Mu, or the motherland. At its peak, the Lemurian people were highly evolved and highly spiritual. I'll speak more on Lemuria and Pyramid 5. And then we move on to the Atlanteans. The Atlanteans harnessed the energies of the pyramids using harmonics linked to the crystals. And they created these pitchfork type instruments that would attune the crystals, and the harmonics would manifest everything that they needed. So in modern time, we have the Great Pyramid, and is at the center of the planet and is linked to the grid matrix that creates our reality. The Atlanteans had a very similar setup. The Atlanteans had what are called seed crystals, and they were flawless, and they grew them the same way that we grow flowers. The Atlantean crystals were powered by the sun, they were powered by the Earth's energy field, or the grid system that we were speaking of, set up by the pyramids. They used this energy combined with the crystals to transmit energy from one pyramid to another. They even left the planet and returned to the planet using this energy. The Atlanteans used a great crystal, some call it the Firestone. It was huge, a cylindrical in length, prismatic in shape, and it had 6 sides. On top of the crystal was a movable capstone used to concentrate incoming rays of energy and to direct currents to various parts of the Atlantean countryside. The crystal gathered solar, lunar, stellar, atmospheric, and earth energies. It also gathered elemental forces and concentrated these at specific points, specific locations between the top of the crystal and the bottom of the capstone. And the energy was used for a variety of reasons. Primarily, it was used as a spiritual tool for initiates. And then it was also used to develop physical bodies. They used the crystal to rejuvenate their bodies, and they were able to live hundreds of years while maintaining a youthful appearance. They also used the great crystal as currents of energy, and they transmitted it through the land like radio waves, and they powered their aircrafts and vehicles. They traversed the land through the sky, on the sea, at the speed of sound. They used currents from the great crystal to transmit their voices, pictures, like modern television. Atlantis was reportedly located in the area of the Bermuda Triangle. Of course, Plato and various historians and philosophers vary on where they think Atlantis was, but it is clear to me, with the vortex of energy in the Bermuda Triangle, that at least part of the continent of Atlantis resided there. We are aware that ships don't go in that area, airplanes don't go in that area, because when they did, they would all get lost and never return. Crystals have such a long list of utility. They were used for healing, for childbirth, for crossing over, for meditation, increasing psychic abilities, increasing mental capacity and clarity. They were used in science and technology. They were used for teleportation and telekinesis. They were used in magnetic force fields. They were used with the library, storing records and other knowledge, much like a computer. So the crystal would actually contain this wisdom. They were used in botany and agriculture and weather control. They were used as power generators. Crystals have the ability to transfer energy, to retain it, to maintain its intensity, to focus and transmit it over great distances. Edgar Cayce predicted that Atlantis would rise in 1969. And there was a discovery that kind of coincided with his prediction. The Bimini Road, it was a submarine geological formation just off North Bimini Island, and it was discovered in 1968. So keeping in mind, in the beginning, we were more like thought forms than individual entities with personalities, and it is in this raw state, if you will, that our full power can be utilized. The challenge in the physical body is to maximize all of your power, to bring it all forth while in the physical body. But the way that you do this is by leaving the physical body with your consciousness, allowing it to have full freedom out in the stratosphere, elevating its frequency, and then calling it back to your physical form. And the more that we do this, the more that we will return to our full power as the Atlanteans presented, as the Lemurians presented, as the Lumanians presented. You know, I want to know your thoughts. I've given you a mouthful. You may agree with some of it, you may disagree. Leave your comments on YouTube directly under the video. I am Empress Nandi. It is my honor and privilege to serve you. Om.